Yes, guys, what's good? Welcome back to another episode of MOTalks. Today, I'm joined by my panel, of course, Kings, Ahmed, and Jacob. Oops, sorry. And today we've got a special guest on today, signed by ex-Spurs midfielder Jamie O'Hara. It's Billericay town midfielder Nickless. Jake, pleasure to have you on.
Pleasure to be here.
How are you, fella? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
Good. I'm just going to fire through some questions, talk about your life up until now, future prospects and whatnot. So for starters, how is football in lockdown?
It's ups and down really, because before I signed at Billericay, like I was a free agent, I had no club. But football obviously sort of like paused. Yeah. So like everyone was in the same boat. So I just took it as like a way to get fit, stronger than everyone. Which was because when it started the lockdown, I wasn't in the best of like shape. I wasn't at my best, so it sort of helped me get back up to speed. And because I took a bit of a break, so it took me a while to get back up to speed. Then trials came along because it was like the season voided in it, and then the new season was starting. So trials came along, and then it was like sort of more positive than negative for me, because obviously I got signed and stuff. So it was more positive than negative.
Yeah. So what was it like to get that call or that text or just to be told, there's a shot for you here in the first team if you're ready for it and if you're up for it?
Yeah, obviously you know me. I went down to the 23s to start off with, and I was just like looking to get back into it. Like obviously I've always took it seriously, but I was just looking to get just to play, just enjoy playing again. And then Jamie came down to the first, the second 23s trial, and he spoke to me after. He just told me to come in, and he didn't say he hadn't signed anyone yet. So everyone was new there. So I went down training. Literally, it was like a 6-week process for the first team. And then he's like said to me like he's happy with what he's seen. Hopefully, I'll get my chance in the first team, and it's paid off.
Absolutely. Are you still in contact with Jamie now?
I have him on Twitter and stuff. WhatsApp as well. I gave him a text obviously when he departed and stuff. But Jamie's a great guy and helped me a lot. And Conch as well, Paul Konchesky helped me a lot, and they've just helped me with my footballing career. Yeah, so I'm very, very, very grateful.
You've had the pleasure of playing and obviously being coached by two obviously Premier League legends. They've played quite highly as well in the league. Up there, I know Jamie's been in a cup final himself. I believe Portsmouth Chelsea 2000. I want to guess insane.
2008, I think.
Was it? Yeah.
So let's take you back, obviously, to what you probably get asked the most. February 2006, Chelsea, Liverpool, Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
I know you probably can't remember as much as you'd like to, but what can you tell us about not only what it was like to be a mascot, but to have and be involved in football at such a young age? Do you remember were you ever told how you even got to be a mascot there? Or
it was like basically a lot of people, like you can go on websites till this day, obviously you've got to be a certain age and apply, but it was like a birthday surprise sort of thing. I remember it was for my birthday. But I was, to be fair, funny enough, Chelsea were playing in like the League Cup, which was the Carling Cup back then, away at Coventry. But something happened, and they said they called up mum, dad, said, I think it was Coventry, it was someone basically in that league away as well. So you can imagine like going, it wasn't like a big game that was on TV. So my mum and dad weren't happy, but then something happened. So they called and they said, oh, we don't need him tonight. You can be at home to Liverpool instead in the league Sunday on TV. Obviously much better game. And like, it's weird because my mum's side's all Liverpool, my dad's side's all Chelsea. So like, it was crazy. I can't really remember much on the only thing like, weirdly that I remember is just going in, meeting all the players. Like I went into the change room, got all my stuff signed, pictures. But apart from that, like I don't really remember anything.
Yeah. Did you keep the new hair dye?
Honestly, that was obviously, I was so young. Nothing was my idea. I just, my mum and dad, I don't know how they thought blue hair and stuff. It's just crazy.
You probably did it to make you stand out, otherwise we'd have never known you to this day.
Yeah.
Fellas, any more questions for Jake?
I've got one.
Yeah.
Sorry about the incident with this. I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a Man United fan, so you know my feeling for Steven Gerrard. You're a legend to me anyway. But what gave you that idea? Was it one of your mates at school?
It was my dad. My dad. Like my dad's not a big fan. He's not a big fan of Liverpool. Like he's got a lot of friends who are Liverpool. Like my mum's family side. So it was just like, yeah, it was all my dad. My mum didn't really know even on the day that I was going to do it until after.
Yeah.
It was a secret between me and my dad.
Christmas dinner at yours must be mental. What was your mum's reaction when you did it? Because I'm sure it's like a juxtaposition. I'm sure your dad was laughing and greasing, but your mum must have been.
Yeah. Well, my dad and mum was at the game, obviously. And they said, while I was in the tunnel, as soon as it happened, it come on and like, I don't know what you call them, but you know, like the screens in the stadium that put the score on?
Yeah.
Like it come up on both of them. And they said like the crowd was just like laughing and stuff. Like my mum was just like, I don't know. I can't remember what my mum had to come pick me up from like school the week after and stuff, like early. Because like publicity and that was coming like all down like to my school. And so I don't know how they found it out, but it was coming down to my school and stuff. And my school weren't happy with it. It was mad. It was honestly crazy.
How did you feel at that young age getting that? Because it's weird, because when I think of that incident, there's two incidents that live in my mind. You and that ball boy from Swansea. Obviously, that ball boy from Swansea was older. But for you being at such a young age doing that, I feel like just be you being a kid. We've all done it to someone. But the way that I remember, because I was quite young myself at the time. I think I was younger than you, but I remember my mum seeing it, and no disrespect, she tutted. I don't want to be offensive to you, but
no, that's fine. Everyone's had negative opinions on it, positive. Honestly, like I said, I was 5. Like I can't even remember it properly. Like, but I don't think there was any like. I mean, Gerrard like wasn't probably happy with it because it happened to him. But if it happened to someone else, he probably would have laughed just like everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there's any malicious attempts behind it.
Nah, of course not. Like,
you know, might got for Liverpool.
Just friendly banter, man.
Yeah,
of course.
Absolutely. So, Jake, football at that age is obviously, you only really remember the either really special moments or you don't remember much at all. But from 5 until, let's say, 15, what can you remember about playing football? Were you quite a hot prospect? Was it hard for you to get into teams? What can you tell us?
To be fair, like at like grassroots level, like I could walk into most teams. Like I was good enough. I everywhere I've gone, like I've always like who's that or something. Not like being big headed, but I've always stood out, sort of thing. But like I had trials at a few clubs, Reading and stuff. I was at Brentford for a few years. But I always got my height. I was a very small kid growing up till about 16, 17. I'm very small. And I always got a very good player. Like we just want to see if he grows. And it was always literally my height, nothing to do with like my technical side and stuff. Just like, and it sort of not made me fall in, but I always thought to myself, oh, it's like never going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the same club was saying the same thing. So I thought that's about 3-4 people have said the same thing about my height. But then, like my growth spurt coming. I always believed in myself, even when clubs were saying that, because I knew I was good enough. But yeah, when you obviously get to like men's football and stuff, and you think about it now, it's not really about the height. Like you can have small pay, but you can still be strong. I think it was just like a sort of excuse sort of thing. But like it was. I enjoyed it, to be fair, from like Sunday football and stuff. You're playing with your friends and you go to summer tournaments, and it was enjoyable. Yeah,
that's good. That's what we like to hear. I know last week we touched on an episode of what players or how players can feel upon rejection, obviously, of clubs. How did you handle your sort of, being told that, we just want to see if he grows, or maybe being told he's just not the right height at the minute, or how do you deal with that? Because we know that there are certain players that they either shirk away from it and they think, no, that's it for me.
Yeah, of course.
They try and rise to it and try and do a lot better. So what are your thoughts on that? And what do you do?
I think it's wrong. Like there's the way they do it, they'll pull you into a room or something after your trials finish, or when say if you've been there a year or so, when they're going to release you, and that's it. They release you, and then where's it from there? They don't look for any pathway to help you. They say, say if they say you're not good enough for the club, but we're going to send you here. You might fit in here, which I think they should do. At least get you a trial somewhere else to show that they actually have tried. But it's all about opinions, football. Like all the people say you've got 5, 6. Like look at players like Salah at Chelsea and Kevin De Bruyne. They weren't fancy there, but look at them. It's all like if your face fits, really.
Yeah.
Like it's a game of opinions, and I'll just say keep going, sort of thing, because he might like you, but he might not like you. Do you know what I mean? So it's just keep going. Don't let someone's opinion put you down. Like when I got it, I think I took, obviously as a young boy, you're probably upset and stuff, but you just got to get on with it.
Yeah, I don't know. They say this not to label it or anything, but it's one man's rubbish is another man's treasure. You might not fit in one place.
Exactly.
Perfect to another. That's really interesting. Looking at Billericay, when did you know the 23s and stuff? You know, you said you weren't playing football prior to playing for the 23s, but what was you doing in between that time?
What, the lockdown? In lockdown?
So just before lockdown,
yeah.
Before obviously the first team had come calling.
When I was with 23s.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, I kept my same routine. I trained every day. Like I didn't have a day off. Monday to Sunday, I didn't have a day off because I couldn't afford to have a day off. Had a few games for the 23. I think I played 2 games for the 23s. And then I was just like, I was just ticking over gyms, and that was still open. So I was going to the gym every day. And to be fair, I was doing a lot of analysis. Like I was watching other players, learning and stuff. Because to be fair, I've always watched football, but I've never watched it detail. I've always watched it as a fan. Like I've started watching it detail to try and improve my game, because I knew I was going into a proper men's setup. Like it's not step 6 or step 7, no disrespect, but I knew I was going into a proper men's setup with ex-pros and stuff. So I had to learn the more tactics of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Lads, anything to ask Jake?
Hello, Jake. How did it make you feel? So when you knew you were gonna start playing with or coming across the likes of Konchesky and Jamie O'Hara, how did it make you feel in the lead up to that?
To be fair, like the first few times you're with them, I wouldn't say like starstruck, but you're eager to impress, because you know they've done good in the game and they're big faces in the game. So you're eager to impress. I remember the first time I went down there, like I didn't know he was going to be there because it was for under 23s trial, and I know they both do the first team, but they were both there, and I was like, sort of thing, like it gave me like a kick up the backside to think, they're watching me. It's a chance to impress. So like it's just I wouldn't say. And then obviously after 2-3 months, they're just normal people. They're normal. Everyone treats everyone the same. Everyone was treating everyone the same down there when they was there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Jake, I was going to ask you a question actually. Working under was it Jamie O'Hara? Obviously, we've seen he's a passionate guy at times. Obviously, with the words he comes out on Talk Sport when he's on there. Yeah, and also we've seen him make the odd appearance on reality TV as well. Take Big Brother for example. He's rowing with Kim Woodburn, wasn't it? Kick off with that. But what's he actually like to be as a mentor as well? Because he's opened up about mental health and like struggles he's had in his playing career. What's he like as just someone being there to talk to if you're struggling amongst like the lads that you work with in the dressing room?
Yeah, to be fair, I see he comes up like he gets a lot of stick on like Twitter and stuff, and like I just think it's uncalled for, to be fair, because like if you don't know someone and you don't know what they go through and stuff, but at training and games, and if you ever wanted to speak to him, just knock on his door. Like he was sat like I said, he was just a normal person. When I came to the first training session, he made sure everyone, because I was probably the youngest there, he made sure everyone introduced themselves and stuff. Introduce everyone, like even if you're a trialist coming in, make sure all the boys are hello, polite and stuff. Never ever had a problem with him. That's with Konchesky as well. Never ever had a problem. He was always good with like, you know, like after training, like if you wanted to do extras and stuff, help out, even if he wasn't doing the extras, he'd sit outside and he'd watch you do it. But yeah, he was helpful. Like he told me times when I needed to kick up the backside, what I needed to do to improve this and stuff. But now overall, top lad. He was unbelievable to work under, and I'm very grateful.
That's really good to hear. Obviously, I've met Jamie myself, and
yeah,
pretty much the same top bloke to work with. Really nice to talk to. Even on his worst days and the team isn't doing so well, definitely I've seen the dark side of him sometimes. But even then, he's a really nice guy. And so looking at where you are now, with Billericay and everything, and working with these top players, and you know, breaking into the first team.
Yeah.
How's life like for you socially? What's it like, you know, going places and having people recognize you? And not only people recognize you as the mascot as well, but I suppose you might want people to recognize you more as, you know, Jake Nickless, the footballer, not just, you know, Jake Nickless who pranked Stevie G 15 or so years ago. I see I'm doing that there, but I suppose you want people to recognize you as the footballer that you are. So how do you deal with that socially? And I know social media probably tags you in billions of videos and like Sky Sports and stuff. So how do you deal with that?
To be fair, like it's sort of got to that stage where obviously I know I've done what I've done, but I'm sort of like drained of like hearing it now. Obviously, like I know it's gonna always say every team, like if I went high or something, it's always going to be spoke about, which is I fully understand that. But like you said with my football, I want to be known for my football now. So I'm trying to just get to the highest level like I can possible and be known for that.
Yeah.
Instead of like you said about the mascot. But no, it's something I've done and I'm happy to speak about to people when they want to speak about it. But yeah, I'd rather be known for Jake the footballer.
Jake the footballer.
Jake the footballer. It's got a catchy title too. So. I've got one question.
Go on.
Because obviously at WDSportz, myself and others, everyone here, we see footballers across from university level to grassroots and stuff like that, all trying to get to the holy land of competitive football professionally. How would you describe your journey? And would you say that it's a journey that's better than some people, worse than some people? How would you have to describe it if you had to?
So mine individually, my journey?
Yeah, individually, your journey.
It's had a lot of downs, but I'd say over the last 2-3 years where I've sort of like come on a lot as a player, the ups are starting to be well deserved. Like I see a lot of obviously boys signing for good clubs under 23 setup, professional setups and stuff. But I feel like on work ethic and desire, like I'm not far behind. Maybe I don't think I'm actually behind in like technical and fitness anymore. Like I felt like my fitness was a bit of a letdown for me. But like I said, over lockdown, it helped me train and literally realize what I wanted. And that's to play at the highest level possible. But yeah, no, I feel like it's been a good, I wouldn't change anything. Everything happens for a reason, as they say. But I wouldn't change anything of my journey. And I think there's a lot more positives to come.
It's good to hear. Good to hear. I wish you all the best anyway from me, myself. Anyway.
Thank you.
Another question from me, Jake.
Go on.
From about the age of, actually not from that age. When did you realize when football was gonna be like your number one in what you wanted to do? Because I know in youth, some people say, oh, they've always wanted to be a footballer, or some people say, oh, it became. When was it for you when you thought this is your number one thing for your career?
To be fair, my dad said like he like drummed it. He didn't like force it until he like drilled it. Everything was football in my house. Football on the telly, taking me football, and that was my number one hobby. But I'd say for every single kid growing up from 5 till secondary school, it's a hobby. And then you start realizing in secondary school, coming to the end where you're going to go to college, what you want to do in life or what you want to do next. And mine was always, I wasn't really a big, like at school of lessons and all that other stuff, and mine was always football. But in my school, I was probably, I'd say, with one other boy, really, who wanted to be a footballer. Yeah. And you always get the kid, like you get 1 in a million or whatever the stats they say. But I always thought to myself, from I'd say year 7 to year 11, that's when I started saying, I want to be. When people would ask me the question, what do you want to do when you're older? Footballer. But like you said, people would just say that they want to be a footballer. But then from college, I went to like a program where I was training like a footballer every day. And you obviously play your games in a week, and that's when it sort of hit me like, I want to do this. I want to do this as my job. But pretty much from, I'd say, just at the start of high school, but properly was probably college level.
Interesting, because you get, I hear a lot of answers of it. It's different for everyone, of course. Some people always knew, some others like really took it seriously later on. I think last week we spoke about Jamie Vardy, who signed pro very late, obviously called him a late bloomer. But for everyone, I just find it interesting that some people, kind of find it at different times, that drive to say, this is my number one.
No, me too. I feel like some people have like plan Bs and plan As and Cs and stuff, which is like, if football don't work out and they go and do something, which is perfectly fine. But with me, I've never, ever had like a other plan. Like I put all my eggs in one basket sort of thing. But obviously I have other plans, but I'm not looking at them. Like my eggs are in the football basket because that's what I want. And I feel like when people, like my teachers used to say to me, you need to have a plan B, you need to have but I don't think you need to have a plan. It's opinionated, but I think if you put into anything you do, work, anything, university, if you put all your effort and focus into one thing, you'll do it 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like telling a child they need to have a plan B is setting them up for failure.
100%.
Because then after plan B, that's going to be, you need a plan B for that now. Then they'll keep having the plan B for their every plan B. So
because
especially for younger lots, it's just plan A for them.
What I notice in England, compared to other countries, because I've been to like on tours and stuff to other countries to play football, and had experiences in other countries. In England, I've never ever seen like at school and stuff, and that's brilliant. Like you should go for it. Plan at like your plan A. You should put all your thing in. Like you said, there's always a little but. Like that word but. Yeah. But what if this? What if that? And then that starts putting doubt into people, and then that could cause some people to think, she is right, and then like set them back a bit. But I feel like for kids, not necessarily my age, but for kids in secondary school, you should always be 100% positive with them, because kids are so often led off track these days. So I think you should be like, in other countries. When I went to Spain, I went out there when I was like 13, 14. They just live and breathe football, like and breathe it, training every day till it's dark. And it's a different lifestyle.
You can see it in their national teams as well. Like they always seem to produce better players than us. Everything just seems to be just a step ahead of us for whatever reason it is. We 100%. Don't know, but you can definitely see it's for them. It's like a religion there, rather than us. It's like,
if you look at the Premier League these days, obviously you're certain there's still very, very good English players out there, but most of the players that make the Premier League are foreign players who have come aboard into the English Premier League. But obviously, like I'm saying, I'm not saying not have a backup plan, but it's just the way I look at things. I don't like thinking negatively. I think just go for it.
Yeah, I think just to touch on that point as well, I think it's really interesting you say that, because I think we all know someone, or we all went to school with someone who was really good at, let's say, football, but never really had the motivation behind him, or the people behind him to get onto him to say, if you pursued this properly, you could make a career of it, and you could have actually been a professional footballer. And they're just sort of like, whatever. But maybe if they'd have had that motivation behind them, then they would have been a player that, we're sat here with today talking to, or
of course,
see them on telly by now. So I totally
agree. I feel like with with that at school, I went to quite a good like footballing school. I reckon it's like very important, obviously, to have someone. Don't have to be your family, or you've got to have someone you're close with who will push you.
Yeah.
Like luckily for me, I've had my father who's, if I can't go somewhere, he'd take me somewhere. Obviously, you see some kids that don't have, are like unfortunate to not have father figures around, or mums that will take them somewhere, like, which is hard. I see there's obviously reasons that some kids can't, they physically can't. But when I hear like negative reasons and stuff, like, it's an extra barrier to stop them doing things. But I don't fully understand it.
Absolutely, totally get you on that one. Anyone else got anything to mention before we round it up?
Yeah, I was going to ask Jake, actually, obviously, going back to the Steven Gerrard incident at the time, he was actually tipped for a move to Chelsea. Mourinho tried to get him a few times. There was like this rivalry between Chelsea and Liverpool. And obviously that was a failed attempt. He ended up signing a new contract. But with someone like Stevie G, is he like a role model that you looked up to for you, like progressing as a footballer? And was he like someone that you think, wow, like that's the ambition, I want to get to a level that he's playing at?
Yeah, of course. Like you probably wouldn't say it in front of fans. As a Chelsea fan, I wouldn't say it like that. But when you look at the moments he's produced in his career, like just like Istanbul, you want to be doing stuff like that on the main. If you're aspiring to be a young footballer, like you want to be doing things like that, going to World Cups, Euros, and I mean, it don't really get much bigger than what Steven Gerrard done in his career. All young footballers should look at people like that. But yeah, 100%. Like what he's done in his career is amazing, and now he's obviously a manager as well. He's had the perfect career.
Absolutely.
I got one more just to ask. Obviously, Jake, you talk about not having putting all your eggs into one basket. Obviously, that kills the dream of you becoming a geography teacher one day. We'll never know. But when we talk about that, and you talk about the support system, how valuable do you think that is for a young footballer? Do you think it's the most thing they should have, or do you think there's other assets they should have in their life?
To be fair, I feel like for me it's very, very important, because my dad's pretty much done everything for me, like traveling to places, and like I live in West London and Billericay's in where does that count as Billericay?
Essex. I could tell you didn't pay attention in geography. I'm telling you.
So yeah, that's from West London. When I tell the players, my teammates that I've come from West, they're just like they're gobsmacked. But my dad on a Tuesday, on a Tuesday night, Thursday night, like he'll straight after work, come home from work, shoot me down on the M25, which takes about 2 hours even on a good day when there's no traffic. So for me, I'd say yes, 100%. That's the most important thing. But for other people, like I was watching a podcast yesterday with Ravel Morrison. He didn't have like anyone to really take him, and like he didn't have like a father figure and stuff as well. But sometimes that can motivate people to think, you know what, like, yes, I'm going to do this for my family. Like he was saying that his mum was in need of money and stuff. So like people will look at things differently. Like everyone's journey is different and stuff, and everyone's reason for doing it is different. But for me, I'd say, yeah, probably like my dad, 100%.
Man of the match, your dad then. He took man of the match every day.
Anything else to add with anyone before I finalize it?
I'm all good.
Oh.
Wish you all the best for the future, mate.
Yeah, all the best for doing.
Cheers. Thank you. I honestly appreciate everything. Thank you.
Yeah. Jake, we'll finalize it with this one. What does the future hold for you? Is Billericay just a stepping stone, or what do you see happening for yourself going forward? Because I know you're obviously quite young, you're 20 years old, 21 years old. You know, 5 years down the line, where do you see yourself?
I've been getting this question quite a lot recently. To be fair, 2025 is the goal where I want to be at the top. I know obviously people say their peaks at 28 and stuff, but the way I'm playing at the moment and the way I'm training and stuff, I think I could be at the top level. Hopefully, injuries regardless and stuff, Premier League is obviously every young boy's aim, but I think I've got it all to play in the Premier League. At the moment, I'm enjoying my football at Billericay because I've recently, the last 2 games, I've played 75, 90 minutes in the last 2 games. And it's like sort of made me feel like I'm playing against much, much older boys, 20, from like 28 to like 33. And I'm holding my own and I'm playing very well. And it's made me think like, like when you compare, I don't really like to compare myself, but when you compare yourself to players in that league, I feel like the qualities I have should be playing at a much higher level, but for some reason they're not. But which is fine because like we said, everyone's journey is different, and I'm still young. So yeah, I'm just hoping 2025 in the football league, we'll say that in the football league, but hopefully at the top end of it.
Brilliant. It's brilliant to hear from you as well, Jake. We'll wrap it up there, Jake. Obviously, thank you very much for joining us on the cast today.
No worries.
To have some insight from you on what it's like to play at Billericay Town. Obviously, all the best in the future. And obviously, I know you'll keep smashing it. I'm sure the rest of us here at WDSportz and all the viewers that view this will as well. So, as I said, thank you.
Trust me, hero.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the sport Bible photo, like the talent and how it started.
That your goal celebration.
Oh, it'll be brilliant.
Everyone said that to me. I should do that as my goal celebration. Everyone.
It'll be brilliant. I'll love to do that protest.
Well, look, thank you very much again, guys, for watching. I'll put all the links to Jake's social medias down in the link below. You can also catch him down at Billericay Town Football Club, where he will be almost every Sunday, I hope, playing his heart out on the pitch. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below. We'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye.